Everyone is a star child, made of stardust and the infinite potential of the universe. This extraordinary fearless something in each of us clamors for freedom from the bonds of fear, conformity, and an ordinary life. Welcome to Dr. Durr's Living in the Sweet Spot, where practical tools and solutions from the intersection of mind-body medicine, science, and spiritual well-being awaken and empower you to live out your infinite potential, to live life in the sweet spot. Welcome to Dr. Durr's Living in the Sweet Spot. I am your host, Dr. Balin A. Durr, and here we talk about those things that really matter to us. Go deep, have those thought-provoking conversations with my guests to awaken, equip, and empower you to live your very best life, to live life in a sweet spot. And today we are actually going to be talking about empowering leadership, nurturing growth through mentorship with my special guest, Dr. James JC Cooley. Well, hello there, Dr. JC.
How you doing, Dr. Balin? How you doing today? How you doing? It's Friday. How you doing?
Oh, I am doing wonderful. And you know, it is always good to see you, my friend. You know that you and I, we love having these conversations. I love your energy, your insights, and the excellence and the love that you bring to everything that you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
So again, thank you so much for being here. And, you know, I actually can't wait for the audience to get to know you. Now, obviously, there's a lot of folks that already know you because of the many fantastic things that you have done. But before we get into that, you know, just a little bit about, again, what we're going to be talking about, which is, you know, in this episode, we're exploring the transformative power of mentorship in cultivating effective leadership and fostering personal and professional growth. And I know that that's something that is near and dear to your heart. And yes.
Yes, it is. It is.
So just to share, you know, a bit of your background, you know, and it's, I have to tell you, part of me, when I actually even think about your many accolades, it's like jaw dropping. all the things that you've done. So again, let me go ahead and share that with the audience. Dr. James JC Cooley is the founder, CEO, and president of Cooley Books Publishing Company. And you also have authored, and you know, you have you have a book out right now that's a #1 Amazon bestseller, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Joy 365.
Got that one too, but this one is a #1 bestseller, as well as Joy 365.
Yes. So but the one that you have out right now is which one?
Well, both.
Okay.
A Black Man Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul is a #1 bestseller, #1 release. Joy 360. I'm a co-author in that book. It's #1 bestseller, #1 international bestseller, #1 release, and so we have a couple of books out there right now.
Yeah. So you're talking about the one that you referenced was A Black Man's Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul.
Yes.
Yes. And then, you know, here's another one that you have that I just love. The title is Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet.
Yes. It ain't over yet. It just started, because we are always on a journey. So yes.
Yeah. So, and you started, we're going to get into some of this too, but you started out with very humble beginnings, into the military as an enlisted um, member, and then worked your way up to becoming an officer and retired as a lieutenant. And then you also have, again, other numerous awards, including from the International Association of Top Professionals, and so many others that I can't even mention. Again, you have a doctorate degree, and you also are an aerospace engineer. Come on, somebody. Somebody.
Retired. We like to use the word retired for that.
Retired, yes, yeah. And then, of course, the pinnacle of your awards includes the 2 Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards that you've received from both President Obama and then another one from President Biden.
And also the 1,000 points of life from President Bush, George Herbert Bush. So
Okay.
3 presidents.
So I did say numerous. I think I think you probably need some help carrying all the awards that you've actually
You know,
earned.
I look at it like this, Dr. Dara, is we are testimony of what we believe in and what we do.
Yeah.
And awards truly really doesn't mean a whole lot to me, other than that people recognize your work. And I believe that everything that we do, it had to come from the heart, and we have to want to, and we have to be that shiny light, especially if we want to mentor others.
Yeah.
So it's so important that that be the main focus and not the awards.
So absolutely, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And that what really matters, of course, is the service and the work that we do, not the awards. The awards are nice.
I believe that to be true, because again, it had to come from the heart, and you have to believe in the purpose that you are doing things for, and everything else, your glory will come. My glory comes by seeing a smile on somebody else's face, that I'm doing the right things, and that others are benefiting from that, and that's where I get my joy. Yeah, as part of Joy 360, 365. So that's what it's like for me.
So yeah, speaking of which, um, you're also the president of a TV network.
I am network president
Network president.
under E360 television. It's called It's Your Life Media Network.
Yes.
It's Your Life, based on.
It's your life. So, and I was gonna say, for anybody that has not had the benefit or the joy of of watching Dr. JC on there, he airs Monday through Fridays at 2 p.m. Central, and then obviously, which is noon Pacific time. And on Wednesdays, I've had the honor of appearing on his 360-degree health segment that airs on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. So that's me. Because I love your energy, and when you're so that's what that was my effort to imitate you. when you when you're coming in or going out, that was my
Absolutely.
effort. Huh?
Absolutely, because it's your life. So, and that's what it's about. And in anything that we do, decisions that we make, um, it's your life. So you have to make sure that you make the right decisions, uh, and to try to stay on track and being successful at whatever you're doing.
Yeah. and so you also are a motivational speaker. I think you got some Jamaican in your DNA, frankly. 'Cause you got 99, you got 99 jobs, or 90, or you've had 99 jobs, things that you've done. And so that's why I say that. Um, Again, so one of the things you do, you also are a motivational speaker. And so tell me something about your journey.
Well, a journey is, it all depends on where you want to start.
Well, you know
Um,
what, you have a fascinating story that even starts when you were a little one, and I think that's so important to hear for people, especially in light of the fact that sometimes there's a tendency to believe that I only got, as opposed to seeing the inherent potential, the infinite potential in even little things. Simple way I say it is, you have an apple seed, you plant it, what you get, a tree with multiple apples. Each apple has multiple seeds in it. So what is that but exponential growth? So I think your story is a critical one to hear, actually.
okay. Okay. So you mentioned my story, but my story starts way back when I was 5, 6 years old.
Mhm.
I was born the seventh of 10 kids by a mother who had six different fathers, and she would never marry. And she had to raise all six of those kids by herself. And sometimes it's a burden because it's kind of tough to raise 10 kids by yourself. And so my mother decided that she needed help. And part of what needing help is she had a sister and her sister husband, my grandmother, in Graham, Alabama. She
Mhm.
identified myself and my brother, number six and number seven. I was number seven, he was number six, to move to Alabama because she couldn't afford to take care of all of us. Now, let me tell you, Dr. Ballard, I grew up in the hood, Alton Port, Chattanooga, Tennessee, into my the hood here. And then the project is what they call it for people that don't know what the project is. It's a ghetto where we had running water, we had government cheese and all that other type of stuff, indoor
Good old good
toilets.
cheese, huh?
Yes, we had all of those things,
Hmm.
but we, to me, I thought that was great, but I knew we were poor. So we get there,
Hmm.
um, and first thing that I remember is going into the house.
Hmm.
It was two bedroom house. It did not have any running water. You had to go out. You had a well out there. You had to wind it up.
Wow.
Um, didn't have any indoor plumbing. Your toilet, you had to walk out to the pastor to do your business.
So the outhouse.
Outhouse. Outhouse.
Yeah, the outhouse.
You had a wood burning stove. That's where you cook. And you had kerosene. Uh, and you had chickens and stuff like that running around. Um, I thought I was poor in Chattanooga,
Hmm.
but I was super poor in Alabama after walking in and having to do all these things that was the amenities that was in Tennessee. So my journey is started was I'm walking and as a 6 year old boy,
Hmm.
not knowing I'm in shock for
Yeah.
one thing, because I don't know how we're gonna eat. I don't know
Yeah.
how we're gonna cook. I don't know how we're gonna stay warm.
Hmm.
So it started out like that. And one thing I tell you, Doc, is that I was sharing the house with 10 other kids and my
Hmm.
mom and whoever else. When we get to Alabama, it's only myself and my brother Jerry, my
Hmm.
grandmother, and my uncle and aunt. And after about 3 days, all the attention was coming to us too. We felt like we were the richest kids on record,
Yeah.
because one thing that we All the other things didn't matter. We had love.
Yeah.
We had love, unconditional love in that. And that was my first insight on life, on what life should be. It should be about love and compassion. And that's where my journey started
Yeah.
from that point on. And I remained in Alabama until I was almost 11 years old.
So you know what? So let's do this. What I wanted. Let's take a break. But when we come back from the break, I want to you share with us how that beginning then set up your approach to leadership and mentoring.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
look forward to it.
All right. Be right back. Welcome back to Dr. Durr's Living in the Sweet Spot. I'm your host, Dr. Bellany Durr, and today I'm talking about empowering leadership, nurturing growth through mentorship. And again, joining me as my guest today is Dr. James JC Cooley. And before the break, we were discussing um, your humble beginnings, but beginnings that I think really set you up for success. So again, tell me how those beginnings, I guess, it helps shape and define your leadership and and really, of course, the how again that sets you up for success.
Okay. uh, as I was mentioning about, I gotta go back to the amenities that in Alabama we didn't have any.
Hmm.
And one thing that I did not say was that when came time to eat, we had to go out and catch our own food.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, so it ain't that you ain't got no restaurant, nothing like that. I mean, no, you, my aunt, when she felt like we needed a chicken, she said, Junior and Jerry, go out there and bring one of them chickens in here. Yeah, so you have to go and they don't play right when you're trying to catch it. They jump on you, peck you, mess all over you, do anything so you can go to the next chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is this: you know what you have to do, and that's part of your job.
Hmm.
Uh, and so that create perseverance because you don't want to get plucked too many times by the chicken. So you have to create a plan. I had watched my uncle do it, and he did it at ease because I mean he had done it so many times. It was he knew how to corner a chicken. So watch him. Took me and my brother like 3 times as long to get one of them chickens as it took him.
Hmm.
You mentioned mentorship. Watching him showing you how to do certain things. You believe in him. And it shapes your mind, it shapes your thoughts, it shapes your ability to focus on the things that you can do. And a lot of times when we're focusing on those things, there are good qualities and there are bad qualities. But we tried to focus on the good qualities, and my uncle always tried to lead as with the good qualities because he wanted us to learn and be productive citizens, even at 9 and 10 years old. So it creates this work ethic, this from watching and learning and wanting to learn. And plus, you had a pattern where when I was growing up, there was no such thing as no, I ain't gonna do it. Or actually, we couldn't even ask the word, why am I doing this? That was out the question. You know, if you were told to do something,
Uh-huh.
it was a very good reason why.
Yes.
And it wasn't always put out that you um, it was explained to you, but you know why. Because if you didn't get that chicken, you wasn't gonna eat.
Yeah.
Mentorship is a person showing you how to do that, instilling those things into you. And all of that started from the ground 0 point 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and created a work ethic where that's what I abide by today. And it's
You know,
instilled.
and so I just wanted to just add this because I essentially one of the things I learned from a young man, their family, we kind of grew up. I was stayed with them, spent some time with them when I was a teen, and a few years ago when his cousin passed, we were at the service, and what he stood up and said was, I'd seen my mother and my aunt have academic success, but it wasn't until I saw my cousin go to college that I believed that I could. So I think to your point, part of what is in terms of what's important about mentorship is the fact that people have to be able to see you, see themselves, see themselves in you in order to feel like they can do what you do, or do what you did. So, and I think again to your point also, how do you learn how to become a man? Is from the men around you. How do you learn how to father? Is from the fathers around you.
And you're absolutely right about that because a lot of times we don't believe in ourselves. We see other people do certain things, but it's uh, first of all, some of us are lazy. We don't want to do these things and think that the world is going to be given to us and think that you're going to wake up overnight or you're going to run and get a ticket and hit the lotto or something like that. It doesn't work that way.
So you
Uh,
trying to say that instant grit approach don't work?
no, it doesn't work. And maybe one out of every billion of people might get lucky and something like that happen. But it's all about learning and believing in yourself. And sometimes it takes watching and being open minded, watching somebody else do something that you probably didn't think they could do.
Hmm.
And like, wow,
Yeah.
they did it. I can do it too.
Right.
I think I can do it.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: I believe in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Um, you know what that road, meaning that if you don't go to school, you don't get educated, you drop out, whatever that is. You're walking out that path. You can get a job there, a chicken house, a foundry job where the expectation is, you know, I might be a supervisor one day or foreman, but you have that tunnel vision on
Hmm.
up there because you was always told that why you just like us. You ain't gonna amount to nothing. We ain't gonna amount to nothing. You ain't gonna amount to nothing.
Hmm.
You start believing that, right?
Hmm.
So you get to a point, Dr. Bell, where you're so used to it as you're growing up. And as in case in point, I went back to Chattanooga, Tennessee when I was 10 and a half. Right? I went back to the same environment that I left 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Same environment, gunshot, project, this, that. And my thought process, I thought was different at the time because I went to Graham, Alabama, learned chores and all that. And it stuck with me. But in a negative environment, and if you believe in that, and it doesn't take long before the things when you were 6 and 7 years old come back to you. You have to make a choice. So my point is, my path is about walking down this road. That's the only road that you see. That's it. Tunnel vision, and just this road. And if you turn your head to the right, bam, you're gonna bump into a wall
Mm-hmm.
because, uh, or you turn your head to the left, bam, you're gonna walk a one lane tunnel. You ever been through a one lane tunnel? And you know you got to stay
No, I've been
straight.
through I've been through a 2-lane tunnel, but never, I don't think a 1-lane one.
Oh wow, you got one lane tunnels where you have blockage up there, and if you veer too much to the left, you're gonna run into the wall. If you veer too much to the right, that's what tunnel vision is, and that's what life is to most people because they only see their program to just follow that one road. Chattanooga, Tennessee, you know what that road is. You done seen so many people in front of you
Mm-hmm.
go down that road, and you know what they're gonna end up just like I said, um, 9 to 5, minimum wage job,
Mm-hmm.
no opportunities, because they don't believe in anything other than my cousin, my mother, my father, everybody worked over here.
Okay.
But
So,
in my
I think also to your point is in terms about the importance of environment. The way I say it is, if you jump in the mud with the pigs, then don't be surprised if you're dirty and you stink, right? And also if you stand too close to the mud, the pigs in the mud, don't be surprised if you get splashed and get dirty. So, so environment absolutely is important. But also to your point, but we also have the choice, right? In terms of what we think and what we believe about ourselves, but we get the blueprint from the people around us to say, this is who you are, this is what you're able to accomplish. And at some point we gotta make a decision about what we're gonna believe and what we're gonna do, and which, in other words, what path that we're gonna take, and are we gonna allow ourselves to get distracted?
let,
So
let me let me cut you off right there because that's where I was leading to.
yes,
Uh, is
I tell you what. So I tell you what. Hold that. We're gonna take a break, and then we'll be right back.
okay. This is fun.
Absolutely. Heaven Abounds in You takes you on an inward journey of discovery that dramatically transforms your outward experience of life. Discover the power of belief. Utilize it in connection with science to create a vision of meaning and purpose that pulls you forward. Let go of the meager me to discover the magnificent me. Let go of your painful past and live life free from fear, worry, and stagnation. Experience an abundant universe as you powerfully create happiness, relationships, health, and limitless opportunities. When you heal your mind, all things are possible. Welcome back to Dr. Dur's Living in the Sweet Spot. And I'm with my guest, Dr. James JC Cooley, and we are talking about empowering leadership, the power of inspiring growth through mentorship. So you were saying before we went to the break We're talking about staying focused on the path and not bumping into the walls and getting distracted and ending up in the mud with the pigs.
So what we was talking about, Doc, was mindset.
Yeah.
Um, and we or you mentioned environment. A lot of times we become a figment of the environment that we're in and the people that we are surrounded by. Not saying anything wrong with the people that we're surrounded by. It's just that if you're in an environment everybody thinking negative, it's gonna rub off on you. If you're in an environment where everybody thinking positive, it should rub off on you. And so we were talking about this thing, a one lane tunnel where a path, just say envision a city or envision a place where there's only one road, at least in your mind. And you're a psychiatrist, so you already know exactly what's going on.
Mhm.
Envision where in your mind, this is the only way. There is no other way because that's what they told you. That's what they told you, that
Right.
this is the only way, and you focus in on that way and that way only. So I can tell you, graduating from high school, after returning back to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I sit back and I watch uh, everybody. I mean, I'm talking about people. Hardly anybody graduated, just like in my family. I'll be real with you. Um, my mom had 10 kids. Only three of us graduated from high school. Only two of us went to college, and and only one of us went to higher learning in college
Okay.
because it was implanted in us in so many words that we could not do, and that this is the way of the world. So I was walking down this road real quickly, um, and the only thing I knew was one way, and so I had this tunnel vision. I was afraid to turn to the left, afraid to turn to the right,
Okay.
and guess what? It was not a tunnel there. It was just mine. But you have been programmed, so you get used to the people that are in front of you walking down that road. One day I was walking down this, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do in life. I don't want to be stuck here. I don't want to do this, but this is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start daydreaming. I'm walking in. It's this path, this road. You know every little crick and kringle. You can close your eyes and step over the tree limbs and all that other type of stuff because you done been down that road so many times. I
Yeah.
walked this road and I dozed off, daydreaming, and I accidentally turned my head to the right and grabbed my head. I didn't bump into a wall. So I said something wrong. So I turned back toward the front and I turned my head to the left. I
Yeah.
said, what? Then I turned and looked back down that road. It was different. I had what we call a paradigm shift. I saw different paths, different paths.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a few minutes ago where you mentioned choice. You went directly to choice.
Yes.
But no. In the beginning, when you're walking down that path, and if you only got one option, that at least in your mind that you only got one option,
Mm-hmm.
that means in your mind you only got one opportunity, right?
Mm.
So what happened to me? I mentioned paradigm shift.
Yes.
I opened my eyes and looked, and I saw some roads that looked like a road to the left. And I looked to the right. I saw some roads to, little lights and footsteps to the right, 3 footsteps to the left, 3 footsteps. Right. Now I have to make a decision.
Yes.
So what I did real quickly, I like, wow, it was a fork in the road, just like Robert Frost come to a
Mm-hmm.
fork in the road. And when the light hits you, you got to make a decision
Yes.
on which way. So either I can go keep walking where there are millions of steps in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
I can turn to the right, which is risk. I ain't, there's only a few steps to the right. Or now I can turn to the left. It's fewer steps to the left. That means that I turned to the left, not knowing what that was. And I walked down that road for probably about a mile, and this bus came by. I jumped on that bus,
Okay.
and the bus rode about a mile, and I looked up. It said Navy,
Mm.
meaning what I was asking for came. So options. If you only got one, and because you got tunnel vision, and that's the only way that you know when you're afraid to take risk, and any other way. When you take the risk and you look down the road, now you got three options. You can go forward, you can go right, you can go left. Options lead to opportunities.
Yes.
In the Navy, I took the road, went to the Navy, and when I got in the Navy, there's so many other opportunities open up. So and you have many to choose from, because if you're in the world of tunnel vision, where that's the only way that they live, just like you've seen the country movies. Well, we gonna go on. This is how we do things around here.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not always like that, because the world is different. So options lead to opportunities.
You got to be ready to jump on the bus, though.
However, you got to make the right choice. Options lead to opportunities. Opportunities lead to you making the right choice. So that's what my program is called: Options, Opportunities / the Choice Program. That's what the JC Cooley Foundation is about. We give opportunities where we try to instill and let people know there's more than one road now. And then, I mean, you just think about those things. So, and that's what mentoring is about. And through the Navy, I had an opportunity to run across some great folks while I was mentored. Um, and I learned, and I had an opportunity to go to school. I went to school like 35, 40 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But education, I believe that's how you truly learn. But you have to be able to take risks, and you have to. Hopefully, you have great mentors, Valerie. Great mentors that are going to see things in you and guide you, so that you understand that in order to be something. I always thought about when I was told you ain't gonna amount to nothing. Well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't amount to nothing. you know, But I
We all
like
know that's not true.
I like where I'm at today.
We just, wait, we all know that well, not we all know, but those of us who know you know that you have risen to a level that I would deem as stellar. And you done seen some things and done some things and been some places that some people dream of and others will never imagine.
But
So
it all comes from you mentioned this earlier, and I didn't have it in front of me. Um,
yeah,
Country boy,
city boy.
city boy, a journey ain't over yet. And I could have easily um, just stayed with the status quo,
Hmm.
and not done anything but the minimum, bare minimum. But I believe I'm somebody instilled from a young boy um, that God has purpose for you, and you have to understand that you are a child of the Most High God. At least that's how I believe. And it doesn't matter about your current situation that you might be in. Your current situation is not your final destination. Let me say that one more time.
Yes,
regardless of what
one more time for the folks at the back of the church that just came in.
your current situation is not your final destination. You doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter where you start. It's how you finish. And finishing, sometimes that strip is not completely written. If you stay open-minded, if you surround yourself with the right folks, if you are willing to mentor others that you see that can grow up and take your place, and because we all have to step down. So mentorship is so important. But in order to lead, you have to follow. You have to be a follower.
All
But
right, so I tell you, let's take a quick break, a short break, and when we come back, I want you to tell us some more about that. All right.
okay,
You got, in order to lead, you got to follow, and tell us, those key things that you feel that's important in leadership and mentoring.
absolutely.
Heaven abounds in you, enlightens, uplifts, inspires, and invites you to live a life that's engaged, joyous, and limitless, the sweet spot of life. Take this journey in oneness. We are and have all that God, the infinite creative source of the universe, is. You are infinite potentiality, and the kingdom of heaven is within you. Heaven abounds in you. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Dr. Durr's Living the Sweet Spot. And we left off with my guest, Dr. James JC Cooley. And he, of course, is sharing his insights with us about basically the importance of leadership and mentoring, and how that helps others grow, right? And so before the break, we left off talking about the fact that in order to lead, you have to be willing to serve.
You have to be a follower.
Okay. Be a follower. Okay.
Service is part of being a follower.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to lead, I believe you have to follow. And everybody's not a leader. And I don't care what they say. Everybody's not a leader. And you, depending on your job, like the military or corporate or whatever, there are certain situations, circumstances that you are forced to follow the leader that is placed above you. And I believe that we learn good and bad from them. So, as I was growing up in the careers that I had some great leaders and I had some extremely bad leaders. I mean, and I developed.
So you had some leaders you wouldn't follow around the corner.
Not around the corner. No, I mean, but I had to at the time.
Okay.
But guess what, Doc? The system, whatever that you're in, and as you're growing up, and you have diverse jobs. Like I had an opportunity to do a lot of things. Some leaders, I saw that they was leading and doing certain things. I'm following, and I developed a long time ago that I was going to put two bags, imaginary bags.
Okay.
One on the left, one on the right.
Uh-huh.
And you run across leaders that sometimes that like they doing this and leading this way, and it's like, wow, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So you grab the goodness out of that and you keep it in your right bag. Then you run across some leaders that, just like what you said, you wouldn't even fall around the corner, but you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully no bullets are coming in. Doing that. And you grab some of that and you put that in your left side bag.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that throughout your career.
Because the stuff you put in the left side of the bag is the stuff you say to yourself, this is the stuff not to do. So you learning from them as well, even if it's don't do this.
Well, I wouldn't put it like that, because
Okay.
we all find ourselves in situations, circumstances as we grow and as we become leaders, right? And you find yourself in the situation that you was in, and you find like, oh, this is stupid. I don't even know why. And so when you find yourself in those situations over years and years, when you run across a problem or issue or concern, you're like, how would this leader would have handled it? So you look in the right bag, and he's like, oh, I remember that. You pull some of that goodness, slap yourself upside the head, and hopefully that. And then you also run across situations, circumstances where they called it, you don't start smelling yourself now. You're smelling your own butt, whatever, however you want to put it. And because this guy, and you don't forget where you came from. But you're like, I'm leading, I'm in charge. I'm in charge now. I got all these people, and they're going to do it my way or the highway. You look over in that bag, and you see some of the things that you had a leader like that, and say, wow, I kind of like that guy. You want to dump that bag and go back into the other bag.
So
Yeah,
you know
so
what? Because of course we got this. We down to the last minute or so. But so what are maybe a couple, 2 or 3 things that are key when it comes to either leadership and or mentorship that you think that people absolutely need to hear?
okay, so most importantly, I think, first of all, if you are fortunate enough to be in a leadership position and are fortunate enough to mentor, a couple of things that you need to, a leader, there's no such thing as a born leader. I mean, he was born to be a leader. It ain't gonna happen under no circumstance. You have to learn to be a leader. And in order to be a leader, like I mentioned, you have to be a follower. And once you follow, you learn certain things, situations, circumstances. You take all those in consideration. But a leader, you have to follow this definition, Val. A leader, my best definition of a leader is a leader is somebody that knows the way, that shows the way, but most importantly, goes the way. And his troops
Come on, somebody! I hear you teaching today.
and the mentors, you have to, first of all, we have to get in our mind that we're not always going to be in that position. So uh, the people that follow us or what we call mentors, they watching every step. You have to always be authentic. You have to always uh, you have to always be, if you're a great person, you have to always be you. You have to always encourage encourage others to be leaders. Now, I'm close out with this one. There's 3 things I think that are so important in leading. I call it the CCU, the CCU. Most people that you're mentor and that they're working for you, a lot of times if they looking up to you as the boss and leader and this and that. Many times, situation circumstances come their way. They want to come and talk to you. And sometimes the first C is they don't want you to say a word. They want you to listen. So they come in and they talk and they talk and you sit back and listen. First C is chaplain. You have to be willing to listen to them, let them get it off their chest or whatever, and
Mhm.
then they get up without you even saying a word. Oh, I feel better now, and they walk out the door.
Uh-huh.
The next C is you have an employee, a mentor, etc. come in. Well, they didn't do this. They didn't do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So you have to kind of look at them and say, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Did you look at your coaching?
Okay.
Your coaching. Yeah, so CCU. The third portion of leadership and mentorship is you have an employee or a mentor come to you and like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna slap. I'm gonna punch. I'm gonna do this.
You're gonna need some bail money.
you, you, you have to be an umpire.
Okay.
You're like, what? You out. You're out of line. So it's coaching styles, leadership styles, it's mentoring styles. But most importantly, I believe is a leader knows the way, goes the way, shows the way in everything that you do. And you have to always be you. And you have to always be reasonable and fair about everything that you do. Your mentors, your people should be able to come to you and talk to you about anything on their mind. That's what it's all about. You have to be you. You have to, if you're gonna tell somebody something, you have to you have to do it. You can't tell somebody something and not do it. So you jeopardize your honesty, integrity, and ethics when you talking outside of your mouth and you're not doing it. So for your viewers, if you don't remember anything, remember the HIE. HIE. Honesty, integrity, and ethics. That's what leadership is about. That's what honor is about. That's what everything is about.
So you know what? So I'm so glad you brought this up. And because I think when it comes to leadership and mentoring, as we talked about, you are the demonstration of what it is that you're saying others should do. And I think one of the most basic but most powerful things that we can do when it comes to leadership and mentorship is to honor your word. Do what you say you're going to do. And if for whatever reason you cannot do it or don't want to do it, you need to go to the person and say to them, they're either I can't do it or don't want to do it, and I'm willing to do this instead. And I think that because that's really what honor and integrity is. Integrity is the wholeness of things. So our words need to, and our actions need to align. They need to reflect each other. And so I think if we do nothing else in the context, again, of leadership and mentorship, and in terms of setting that example, is to teach others to tell the truth about who you are and what you want. And then again, to keep your word and honor your agreements. And if you don't want to keep that agreement, then renegotiate the agreement.
That's work. That's what life is about. So um, always the mentors or the leaders, whatever you prescribe to be, always be your authentic self.
And also, and because we're gonna go ahead and wrap up, and with you and I again, I tell folks what we're gonna do. We'll have to push the pause button. Because there's a whole lot more to unpack and a whole lot more to unshare. But I know that your tagline, or the what you leave people with is dream big. So I'll let you say
it. What I always leave and with is always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do.
That's right. That's right. So tell me, how can folks contact you?
You can contact me. You can contact me through my email address, jamescooley145@gmail.com. You can watch me, just like what Dr. Ballin mentioned. My show come on Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, on E360, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, over 55 live streaming platforms, and E360 TV, a lot of different platforms. And so, or you can listen to me every Sunday, prime time, KCBQ AM 1170 Answer, FM 96.1, or in all major podcasts. It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley. So I hope you guys tune in to our show. We always looking for great guests, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to come on the show. And it's an absolute pleasure. Just always chatting with you about it. Always.
So, well, I feel the same way. I feel the same way about you, my brother from another mother. So thank you so much for joining us to share your wisdom and in your experience. And I would highly encourage folks to check out your show. It is a wonderful show filled with a wealth of of information and inspiration and guidance in order to live your better life, right? It's because it's our life. It's your life.
One other thing about the JC Cooley Foundation, CooleyFoundation.org, where we speak at. I speak at like 50 to 70 high schools, and might be speaking at a school in your area. I know that we got opportunities that we're speaking, and we're giving away scholarships. In Temecula, California, Marietta, California, in May, we're giving away 12 scholarships.
Yes.
And so CooleyFoundation.org, you can get some information about our programs. And you also can, just like I said, and just like Dr. Ballin said, you can find out how we teach how to dream big, think big, and be big. Yeah.
So go ahead and take us out with that one more time.
Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. Remember, it's your life.
Thank you so much, Dr. James JC Cooley. I'm your host, Dr. Ballin A. Durr, awakening and empowering you to live out your infinite potential, to live life in a sweet spot. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us today in the sweet spot. Share, follow, and like us on social media. To learn more, please visit BallinADurrMD.com, spelled BallinADurrMD.com. Join us next week, and remember, when you heal your mind, all things are possible.